I went to Berlin on a donkey. One of Hitler boy tried to stop me. I gave him the Atung as
Good morning and welcome back to it, the Now Morning Show, where we are talking climate issues. As the special envoy to climate issues in the Caribbean, the ambassador for the Federal Republic of Germany to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago has a vested interest in addressing climate change issues in our region. Germany's support, advancing it, that is, to help build resilience and capacity, is certainly on the agenda, and towards that effort, His Excellency Dr. Christophe Eick joins us this morning on and now ahead of the Germany Caribbean Climate Talks series. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
An absolute necessity because, as you rightfully underscored, climate change and climate issues are at the forefront of Germany's agenda with the Cross Caribbean series coming up. And first off, the event itself is dubbed a Just Transition in the Caribbean. What is meant by just transitions?
Well, Just Transition actually wants to describe a process whereby everybody, not only the government or the industry, but everybody really is being part of a process. And it means that women, for instance, should profit just as much as men. It means people with disabilities should also be included in the process. So this is what is meant with Just Transition. Nobody should be left behind. This is why Just Transition is also a global process where countries such as Trinidad and Tobago and others should also be part of the process, not just the rich countries like Germany.
I love that you mentioned countries beyond Trinidad. So the embassy currently supports other endeavors focused on addressing climate change in the Caribbean, in the region altogether. Can you describe some of those programs to us?
Well, we work very close with CARICOM, and through CARICOM we have programs that actually focus a lot on small islands such as Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis. And what we do are things like wetland restoration or adjusting the transport sector, the grids, things like that. All issues that are important for these small countries in particular, because they really bear the brunt of climate change.
Mm-hmm. Now, in light of these existing efforts, can you share the distinction between those that you've already mentioned, perhaps, and the German Caribbean Climate Series itself? How will that be different?
Well, it's not different. What we are doing is we are complementing. We are complementing our actions on the ground with a discussion on the issues. And this is what we want to do with climate talks. We want to engage. We want to engage with people in the region, people in Trinidad and Tobago, politicians, industry, and so on, so that everybody really should be part of it. And we should learn from them, because people in the Caribbean, because they're so heavily affected, they often lead the conversation on climate change issues. So we actually can profit, Germany can profit from listening to the people here.
I like that approach in terms of listening, and it gives the sense of empowering the people to make those decisions come to life. I wonder, though, in terms of the series itself, because it does say series, that means we're going across the region then?
Well, we are planning already a second event in September. I won't divulge on which island it's going to be, but it's not going to be in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
But the whole concept of climate talks is something that we do worldwide. All the German embassies all across the world do these climate talks, and it has proven to be a very interesting experience. So we are starting it now, and we hope to continue over the years to come.
So let's get into the actual event that is happening at the iconic Mille Fleurs. What the series opener, what can we expect when we head over there? How will it take shape?
Well, it's, as you said, at Mille Fleurs, and it's a wonderful location, one of the Magnificent Seven. We're honored that we will have Minister Penny Beckles, a Minister for Planning and Development, as a keynote. And she's going to talk about transition in Trinidad and Tobago. But then we will also have a former minister from St. Lucia. We will have an expert who is attending the COP discussions, the Conference of the Parties, where Trinidad and Tobago and all countries in the world join every year to advance the issues and talk a bit about what is happening behind the scenes, what are the global trends, what about renewable energies and so on.
Now that sounds like a lot of dialogue. That is one way for the most part. You mentioned that we have the ability to partake of this. So how can we, the average man on the street, connect?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a hybrid event, so you can follow online. You can actually participate online as well, and you can come to the event as well. But you should get in touch with either Caribbean Analytics, the NGO we are partnering with, or through the Facebook page of the German Embassy, because space is limited, obviously. It's a small location. But we would love to have people, yes.
Now, granted that the conversation is just a start, you're telling us some of the persons that will be there and some of the topics that will be covered. As a person who may not be a climate change expert, this is probably just the first time a member of the regular society is being exposed to it. Where can we get more information? You mentioned some NGOs partnering with the German Embassy to make this happen. Are there other resources we could use?
Well, there are quite a few NGOs actually nowadays in Trinidad and Tobago that are interested in the subject. I would also point you to the government, the Ministry of Planning and Development, Minister Beckles. They put out quite a bit of information that is there. So it is accessible. And you can follow, of course, the media, both here in the country and abroad. You can follow things, discussions online. There is plenty of information around. When I look at my X account, I mean the other accounts I follow, there's amazing information on what is happening in the region and beyond.
I'm glad that you pointed out X as formerly known as Twitter, because the real-time responses, the real-time engagement must be invaluable to you. You're getting on-the-ground responses as to how people really feel and think about this.
That's right.
Does that mean that we can engage this particular series through those platforms as well simultaneously?
Yes, you can. I have an X account, German Ambassador Trinidad and Tobago. We have our Facebook page at the embassy. So there are plenty of ways. Caribbean Analytics, I'm sure, are going to have something on their social media channels, so we can engage. And I would look forward to engaging with the people.
I'm sure the people are going to get in on the action, because the sun alone has been so hot. The climate conversation is going to be something we can all relate to. Now, granted that you're looking at experts and non-experts being in the same space in a series of conversations, could you describe to me a little bit what we hope to get out of these conversations and even the other programs that the embassy continues to partner with other governmental organizations for?
Well, we want to deepen this, the conversation that we are having. We want to focus discussions on particular issues. One of the issues, of course, is energy transition, which is part of the transition process, and it's very important because the energy sector is the biggest producer of greenhouse gas emissions in the region, and it is very important to work together to get energy transition right. We are doing this in Germany. We are building, of course, on renewables more and more. And the region also wants to do that because they are dependent on fuel imports, not so much Trinidad and Tobago, but the many other islands in the region.
And as you go back to that region, I'm tempted to ask where we might be heading next for this series, but I know you said you're not going to divulge. It is safe to say, though, it is one of the regions that actually has a German embassy in it, yes?
We don't have that many embassies in the region, unfortunately. So we cover 10 islands, and it's going to be one of the islands in the region.
No more information. I'm trying my best here. I do this because there is, as you've rightfully said, a number of NGOs that are now interested or showing interest more so now than before in the conversation about climate change and the opportunities therein. I see a lot of entities perhaps starting to hone their chops or tackle it head on, but they definitely need support. So outside of these series of talks and conversations, are there ways that persons, smaller persons, singular persons, can get in touch with the embassy to become a part of the change?
Sure. I mean, we are open for anybody who wants to come and touch base with us, see where we can interact. We have plenty of programs, really. I mean, we have things like The Caribbean Biodiversity Fund. It's another regional fund where we are engaging with a lot of the funds in the different countries that do biodiversity, for instance, and where we manage to help them with finance and so on, so that they can set up their own programs. Because this region has so much to offer. Trinidad and Tobago is beautiful, the nature is fantastic, but you have to protect it, and you have to do something about it.
Excellency, I truly appreciate that sentiment, and I will divert away from the conversation about the event a little bit, because earlier this morning we were checking in with another German who is walking through Trinidad and Tobago, and as you know, he is exploring that beautiful flora and fauna that you've mentioned. Any perspectives on his endeavors, because it does draw attention to the rural parts of Trinidad at the moment, which we were talking about how beautiful it is. Have you been following Tilo's walk through Trinidad and Tobago? Well, Trinidad?
Absolutely. In fact, he came to the embassy before he started his walk because he wants to continue beyond Trinidad and Tobago. But seriously, I first of all, of course, I wish him well. I mean, the heat is strong out there. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the people of Trinidad who have been, very generous in supporting him on his walk with, food and water and places to sleep and so on. So we are following his adventure, holding our fingers crossed, and he does bring a little bit of attention to the beauties of this country.
That's definitely what we want to focus on. We will, of course, focus our attention as we mark our calendars for this grand event. The 13th of May at 5 p.m., we are heading to the iconic Mille Fleurs as the German-Caribbean climate talks begin. Just Transitions in the Caribbean as the first part of the series kicks off this week, well, the 13th, that is, this month. And we thank you very much, Your Excellency, for joining us this morning to give us the insight and get us ready to be part of Just Transitions climate talks in the Caribbean. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
An absolute pleasure. Guys, we are continuing to add things to your calendar, as you can see. So stick around. The Now Morning Show has more to after these messages.
We got to become more competent. The way we